Hello you brazen oxes, Jim Sterling here, and this is my day one wrap-up for E3 2015, because it's something to do, isn't it? Hello. I don't think it's unreasonable to suggest that this year's E3 has been the finest E3 selection of stuff, like, in years. This is an E3 that's kind of spoken to everything I would like from a show that is, you know, already very PR glitzy, hype-led. But at least this year wasn't so overt about it. They actually made a presentations focusing more on fun. There was a whole bunch of diversity representation of games, of people talking. That was awesome. There was very little talk about pre-orders. There was a little bit, but very little talk about pre-orders and DLC. Most of the consoles seem to be fighting over who gets exclusive betas now. So that was good to see. I mean, obviously Arkham Knight talks about it a bit, but that's Warner Brothers and they can't resist. So that was very awesome. We've had some big reveals, which we'll talk about, and really just a really nice show. And only Sony talks about television a little bit, but by that point in the show, they could have talked about anything they wanted, and I think we'd have let them just go ahead and do it. They've kind of earned a free pass this week. So let's just start with the chronological thing, which is really a day zero thing with Bethesda's showcase, which is their very first kind of conference, and for a first, I think they did pretty dang well. They kicked things off with Doom, which looks alright. It looks nice. From a gameplay perspective, it looks like Doom, I guess. It had shooting, it had a silly soundtrack, it had monsters with their bits falling off. That does seem to be a game that just hates the idea that arms and legs are where arms and legs should be, and charges you with the task of ripping them off and just throwing them about the place, which is alright. My one issue with the game is the colour, because so far it looks like everyone urinated all over everything, which just doesn't scream Doom to me. I want black on red, contrasting colours, the kind of garish colour schemes that the original Doom games had. There's a screenshot going around right now of the cacodemons that Bethesda released, and it's all grey and yellowy, and that's alright, I guess, if you think that hell in Doom should look a bit like Deus Ex Human Revolution. But someone recoloured it and made the cacodemons all red with blue mouths, like in the green eyes and everything, and it just looks better. It's amazing how contrasting colours can make a game look better, and a lot of game developers don't seem to realise that. They want everything muted, I guess they want everything photorealistic, but games look better, and especially in the HD generation, they look better when the colours pop out at you, and Doom was a game, has always been a game in which that happens, so I would like to see that change if possible. But that was cool. Dishonored 2, awesome. I really like the first. I really like the first Dishonored, and seeing this one come out is awesome. The idea of playing as is it Emily Caldwell? As a character as well as Corvo, that's cool. Having your choice of protagonist is always good. I'm always in favour of it. My one thing is Ms. Caldwell needs a skull mask, because the skull mask that Corvo has is awesome. So she needs one, because really, skull masks all around. If I had my way, everyone would have a skull mask. It would be a mandatory thing in America, but we don't get what we want, so that's okay. Fallout 4, I mean, what needs to be said at this point? Cool, awesome. Looks good. I'll get over the fact that the protagonist speaks. We all will. The whole Minecraft type thing they're throwing in, and the idea of running your own settlement is, I mean, that sounds like you could spend days doing that yourself, like as well as whatever the main storyline's going to be. So I'm in favour of that. That seems cool. So yeah, good showing. I'm into the whole Fallout thing. They assuaged our fears. There was that rumour going around that you could only play as the bloke, which would be weird, but they kind of put paid to that idea, so I'm on board with that. Looks vibrant, looks like there's a lot to do. Just the whole crafting thing fits for Fallout. There are so many survival crafty games now that it's hard not to roll your eyes when a new one comes out, but knowing that Fallout 4 already is a base game, if it's anything like Fallout 3, and which we've got no reason to believe it won't be, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a bad idea, I don't think. It's going to be cool, so I like it. That's about as in-depth of my criticism as really you can ever be when it's just sort of on screen demos that you're not playing. So yes, The other stuff they talked about, I don't really give a shit about. There was a MOBA. Looks like every conference needed a MOBA of some kind, or whatever. What else was there? There was the Elder Scrolls card game. Should have called it Half Firestone. They missed a trick there. Waste of time, innit? Elder Scrolls Online. Well, it's nice that they got a hobby, isn't it? That brings us neatly round to Microsoft's press conference. Oh yes. Now, I am quite famously cynical about Microsoft. They kind of lost any respect I might have grudgingly had for them as a company at the turn of this generation, and did very little to win it back. Their E3 conferences over the past few years have been universally terrible, but this year was fucking strong. Like, I've got no problem admitting that. Microsoft came out swinging. Phil Spencer had the biggest shit-eating grin of the day, and he kind of deserved it, because that was a very good showing from Microsoft. Starting with the Xbox compatibility thing, which was awesome at the time and seems to be a lot more restricted now that we're looking at it, but it's nice to see they're making the effort at least, especially after years of executives telling us that backwards compatibility was not a big deal. It was not important, and then it becomes a big dick drop in the middle of a E3 press conference, well, near the beginning of one. It just shows you how this industry just moves with the tides, that they will come out against something one day, and then the next they will be using it as a mic drop opportunity. If you will. And that's cool. The idea of your Xbox One being able to play everything, I mean, it's a smart move. Like, they want people to upgrade from the 360, which was, you know, so many people had a 360, it was kind of the standard console for the last generation, and the PlayStation 4 has been kind of creeping up to take that mantle this gen. So giving 360 users this idea that they can carry all their games over was just a smart move. As well as that, they gave a great showing to lesser known games. You know, they showed us fucking Cuphead, which looks fantastic. They gave us a showing of what was it? That Recore, that game which has the robot dog, which is a clever idea, because so far, like every game that introduces a dog, we wait to find out when that dog's going to die so that we can have emotions. But this is a dog that dies over and over again. It dies and leaves a little bowl behind, and you put that in another robot so you can watch it die later. That's just more bang for your dog buck, so thumbs up there. Ashen looks cool, the little faceless people that look like their kind of Last Guardian thing, which was cool until later that day. And what else did they have? They had stuff. Just a lot of good games. Tacoma, that looked interesting. I mean, I'd like to see what... It's one of those things that I'm not going to get much off of just a demo on a thing. You know, you're going to have to play that from beginning to end. So, looks promising, you know. All of their indie stuff looked promising. They lowered a car down at one point. They just lowered a Ford down from the rafters onto the stage. Could have funded 12 indie studios with that, but what's you going to do? Gears of War 4, or Gears 4 I guess they're calling it, looked very interesting actually. I mean, it was dark as fuck, you had to squint to see it, but I like this idea that it kind of had horror elements to it, because the original Gears games had those darker moments where you were kind of walking around old houses and there was creaky noises, and it doesn't get credit for the atmosphere that it can produce, that series, and so the idea that they're focusing on that bit for Gears 4 is interesting, and I hope that's where they take it. Like, if they go full-on shooter horror, then I'd be on board with it. I mean, we'll probably see it next time and it'll be out in broad daylight with locusts everywhere and people yelling and screaming and chainsawing, but until I see that, then I'm on board with it. Dark Souls 3 exists, cool. I'm still worried about the idea that we're going to have the annualization of Souls games, that Sony's going to work with Bloodborne, Namco's going to work with Dark Souls, and we're just going to... Because they feel they should be events, they should be special experiences, and I'd hate for that magic to die with yearly releases like Assassin's Creed, which that's probably the only mention we're going to have of Assassin's Creed on this video. So that's cool. What else did they do? Halo. Halo's not generally my thing. My big issue with their Halo Guardians is the fact that it's a game in which you're chasing Master Chief around, and they've not called it Halo Is It Me You're Looking For. Seems like a bit of a missed opportunity, but that's just me. EA's press conference was EA's press conference. I mean, what more can be said? They had Pele on stage for ages for Football Story Corner, where it was just one man and Pele on stools, talking to each other very quietly about football. Bored the shit out of me. But Mirror's Edge Catalyst was cool enough, and Star Wars Battlefront was looking good, looked scripted. I need to see it in an actual environment first, but I like where they're going with it. Very authentic sounding. They nailed all the sound effects, all the pew 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 and all that stuff, so that was cool. Otherwise, I mean, you know, it was EA. They talked about a fucking mobile game with the minions from Despicable Me in it, which is just going to be microtransactions, isn't it? They talked about Yarny. Yarny was the highlight of their show. The fucking little red string cat. And the really awkward developer who was just adorable. Like, he seemed terrified, the poor guy. And he had a hand tattoo, which was weird. And he brought out a doll and showed it to us, which was also weird. But he was cute. He was a little cute guy, and he was all like, hello. That was fun. And we were all lulled into a charmed sense of security. You know, it was this lovely little game, and everyone was all like, and felt just a tiny bit sleepy, which is why EA then blasted Danger Zone at us and showed us this garish Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 thing, which I'm going to be cynical of, because the last one was a stealth excuse to deliver us microtransactions, so less said about that the better. Ubisoft, they had a press conference. They always do. It was alright. Aisha Tyler was there again. She gets better every year. She also finds an excuse to put something really awkward in. This year, she was talking to a man in the audience dressed up like some fellow in a top hat, trying to hit on him by using rickets as the seduction technique. That I've never seen that happen. I've never seen a woman try to pick up a guy by talking about rickets. So that was interesting. And then she tried to force a meme on us and was like, hey, let's come up with a meme, which isn't how they work. And then they brought that Jason Derulo or whatever he is on stage in his weird suit, singing badly, and then a meme happened. So that's how a meme happens. You don't force it, you just bring someone on stage to play Just Dance and fuck it up. So that was weird. Did they do anything interesting? I can't remember anything. I think they did something that was cool, but I can't remember, so that's enough of them. Which brings us neatly to Sony, who, well, brought the fucking house down, didn't they? They started with The Last Guardian, which was a strong fucking start. Finally, we see it. They tell us it's going to be in 2016. Nice. That's going to be good. Looked adorable. It's got a bird dog. What more do you want? It's got a bird dog and it catches you. And that's beautiful. And it does look nice, and I can't really be cynical about it, you know, it's tempting to be. I mean, The Last Guardian has been a place to be cynical for, like, God, how long's it been? Like more than 5 years, like over half a decade, and we finally see it and it melts our hearts, so that's nice. Really happy about that. The new thing they showed off, Horizon Zero Dawn, or Zero Something, Zero Some, Horizon, I'm just going to call it Horizon, it didn't need the tagline. Basically, Monster Hunter meets Last of Us, meets Enslaved, meets Disney's Brave. I'm all for it. You're a woman who, with a magic fucking technological bow and arrow, and you go around hunting monster dinosaur robots. Yes, I'm quite happy with that. That looks fucking wonderful. I'm already a fan of Guerrilla Software's work. I'm really thrilled already that they're doing something that isn't Killzone. And it really looks like they've hit upon something that could be bloody marvellous. Really, really cool stuff. So that was strong as fuck. Happy about that. What next? I guess we should talk about Final Fantasy VII. I guess. That gave me chills the likes of which I've not seen in a long time. And this is coming from someone who actually doesn't want Square Enix to remake Final Fantasy VII. Not that I wouldn't be interested in a remake, but people always forget that it's not the Square or the Enix or the Square Enix that we remember remaking it. It's this Square Enix remaking it, and I kind of don't want them to touch anything. It worries me, because they're so up their own arse when it comes to writing stories. They're so when it comes to milking Final Fantasy. But it did get me. Nostalgia's a powerful drug, and I still don't quite believe that they announced that. It was a massive, massive jaw drop moment. I mean, it was a special thing to witness live and be on social media and everything when it was going down. Like, it was. Doesn't matter how cynical I may end up about it over the next few months. Last night was a fucking enchanting experience. It was wonderful to be in that moment. it was a sublime thing. Like, it was very well done. Now, you can see me now just sort of struggling to find the right words for it. So, yeah, I mean, I want to see it. I will play it. I am nervous because Square Enix touching anything these days makes me nervous, but I mean, it's hard to bring the house down right now. It's hard to bring the mood, I guess. Hard to bring the mood down right now. Let's save the killjoying for later, and just right now, just I'm happy for all of us that happened and it made us all excited, and that's a good thing. Shenmue 3 killed Kickstarter. Now, I don't have the history with Shenmue that a lot of people have, but I'm fucking excited for everyone again that's happening. I'm going to have to think long and hard about the idea of big games like that using Kickstarter. Now, I don't think it's bad for indies, as some people suggest. Some people seem to think that it's a zero-sum game when it comes to Kickstarter and crowdfunding. When I've spoken to someone from Kickstarter, and they've confirmed for me that when a big project hits Kickstarter, it's good for everyone. And I've noticed this with my own Patreon that I do for the Jimquisition. People that signed up to Patreon just to contribute to me then go on to contribute to other people. I think Shenmue 3 is probably going to be very good for everyone on Kickstarter. Whether it should be there or not, I mean, that's a conversation for another day. Right now, again, now is not the time to bring the mood down. Now is the time to just be excited for everyone who wanted Shenmue for such a long damn time. And there it is. And the idea that it brought down Kickstarter temporarily was interesting. I mean, that just shows you what a cultural force games have become. That's what fucking happens now. So yeah, that was cool. Otherwise, I mean, it was just strong all round. They talked about VR a lot of them talked about VR this year, and it's as far as I can tell, the target market for that is very comfortable tech bloggers. You know, financially well off. Tech bloggers who do nothing, who will probably get the VR headsets for free anyway. Some of us have families and mortgages and bills and responsibilities, and it's just not for me, especially because it is so prohibitive, not just cost-wise, but physically. I mean, you know, I wear glasses, I'm prone to eye strain and headaches and stuff for a variety of reasons, and VR just doesn't seem like something I could handle, and a lot of people can't handle it. It just seems like it's going to be like when 3D TV was the future a few years back. It's cyclical tech, as my friend Conrad Zimmerman put it. So, yeah, whatever. They talked about television for a bit. I mean, someone had to. Showed Uncharted. That looked cool. I really wonder if it's just a game about Nathan Drake becoming a vehicular terrorist, going around foreign countries just knocking all their fences over in a Jeep. But that's for another day. Otherwise, just a good showing. It was a good E3. If I've forgotten something, fuck it, it wasn't worth remembering. I say that, there's going to be something once this renders, I'm going to be like, shit, I didn't mention that, but, you know, I just wanted as quick an overview as possible. I've set it jabbering long enough already, it's going to be a bastard to edit together. But, yeah, good E3 so far. That was just day 0 and day 1. Yeah. As someone like me who's cynical about the industry overall and is very cynical about the AAA business side of things, I'm looking at E3 so far and just thinking, yeah, you're doing well. You're keeping the bullshit down to a minimum, or at least you're keeping it off the stage, so we can be angry about it later. And you're just showing games, and you're showing diverse games. You're showing diverse developers. Baby steps. I mean, it's not like we're suddenly going from Doom ripping arms off to, you know, a whole bunch of walking simulator-style games and text-based adventures and stuff. But they're taking... I see this as a positive step forward in many ways, this E3 so far. That was all just good steps forward. Not huge leaps, but good steps forward. And I'm just excited for all of us so far. You know, as I said, we will probably get more cynical about it later, but for right now... happy times, good stuff. Roll on today. You know, Nintendo, all that stuff. Good stuff. I'll see you later. Bye.